Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, with your analysis for May 12th, 2016. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. One thing we talked about in the previous session was that 2 sessions ago we had the squeeze through 2061s. I mentioned a pullback could occur into 61s, and if we do see a pullback to between 59 and 61, that's where bulls could look to defend for a shot at squeezing higher up the ladder toward 21 to 2105. And so far overnight, bulls have indeed come in to defend, and we are now seeing prices trade back toward 2070. Again, remember, 2061 is composite VPOC right now, large HVN here, and we've been basically trading above it and below it, and now around it. And that's the likely expectation. We're going to continue to see chop around this level for the most part, and the edge is mostly at the edge of the range. When price comes up into this area, look to defend it for a rejection back to value and back below. When price is down below in this part of the range, you look to defend it and bring it back up. Right now, prices are just kind of trading around 61s. We've just seen the buy stops come out, a defense of that area, and that could imply more strength ahead. But obviously, 77s have been a big level. Continue to watch 77 half very closely. Here's a look at the ES in an intraday time frame. You can see the sell-off. The previous session we were looking to defend the edges of the range, and then right in here when price started to begin to fail into that zone of support, that's when we started to change our bias in the trading room and said, you know what, if they can't hold 69s, look for a push into 59 to 61. And we got that move by the end of the day. Overnight trading again. You can see all trading below 61s here has been defended, and right now we've seen a squeeze right back to 5-day VPOC 2071s. I think any retest of the overnight pivot to 64 half, it's right here, 63, 64 half, that zone could offer a buying opportunity for a push towards 77 half. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Here's a look at crude oil. One thing we've been talking about with regard to crude oil, I know it's had a lot of bad press here lately, and everything's looked weak, especially with how prices were failing to hold above the previous month's close. But I mentioned that in my belief that was a ruse there, and that these players right here were getting absorbed. All of these bears that were getting short were getting absorbed. They weren't getting paid. The bears weren't getting paid, and eventually the stops were going to come out above 46s. You can see the previous session was a big-time squeeze event that was triggered after the energy report. A big continuation and a close above the previous month's close. The expectation there is for a continuation toward our primary target of 49.08 with a likely continuation into the LV and beyond it at 51.10. That's the 100% expansion of this key range, and you can see that prices continue to hold above it after breaking through the top of it. It got a little dicey there, but of course we always believe that this thing could squeeze to 49s, and here we are trying to get that upside break. So I would say 46 down to 45.66. That's an area where bulls are currently defending, and we'll want to continue to defend for a continuation toward 49s. And that's the likely expectation at this time. Any rejection and close back below 45.66 could imply a return back toward 42.60. Okay, let's take a look at the intraday time frame. On an intraday basis, you can see how significant the previous session squeeze was here. A big time push out. Here is the inventories report, a steady continuation. We knew it was a buy opportunity throughout the time, especially as price pushed above the R3 band on the VWAP. PivotBoss pivots there. Once it got above the band, we were looking to defend pullbacks. And now we see a straight continuation again after the LVN was defended at 45.83. Clear LVN on the 5-day profile, and we're still seeing a price discovery phase. Again, on an average week here, we could see a move to 46.98, but we've already seen that heading into Thursday's trading. A 125% expansion could be seen ahead. That could put us into 47.97 by the end of the week. All right, let's take a look now at gold futures. Gold here continues to attempt to hold above 1265 to 1267s. That's basically the 50% portion of the recent range here, and we talked about this being a key range now in effect with the midpoint at 67.30, and prices are just hugging the midpoint. The expectation right now has been that we're slowly and gradually pushing higher. All pullbacks have been defended. However, it's been a very bumpy, choppy ride. Right now, market participants that are long are trying to shake everyone out, shake out all the weak hands on every attempt here, and it hasn't been easy. So right now, if you're holding futures here, it can be a headache if you're not scaling quickly to take what the market gives you. At the moment, bulls are trying to keep this area defended for a push toward 1338 to 1341, but failure to hold this area would suggest a rotation back toward 29 to 36 half. Okay, so let's take a look now at the NQ. Higher time frame NQ here. You can see that we've had a significant rejection off the highs that led us to lows. This recent low here has led to a nice little bump higher, and now prices are back above 43.55. That was the near-term pivot I was mentioning here that needed to be defended by bears. They were trying to defend, and then it squeezed. So I mentioned that if bulls are going to get traction, they need to reclaim 43.55s. And so far that's happened, and the retest has happened as well. It's currently in effect. So right now the bulls are attempting to keep prices above 43.55 and keep prices below their bid for a shot higher. That would put price back toward recent highs and at least that middle HVN at around 4,500 with a likely shot at testing highs and creating a larger trading range. So right now the idea is 43.55 is the pivot. We're currently above that pivot, so it should be an upward bias. Obviously, bears are still defending, given that they are, the major controlling participants of the trend. This LVN right there, that's 44.40, is the area where I believe major sellers will come in. So if price pops into that area, expect this part to open up a wave of selling pressure that could lead to prices back down. So just a couple areas to focus on as we head into the rest of the week. Here's a look at the overnight trade. Previous session's low and close, immediately bid. Price came back to it and defended, sparking an overnight impulse range to the upside. This implies strength right now. Overnight pivot has been bid. ETH VWAP bid. So I would say a return back toward 43.60s offers an opportunity to defend and perhaps squeeze toward the primary bull target at 43.95 half. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. One more thing here. If this area does not hold, that would run the stops back toward recent lows, and it's going to be a big-time retest of these areas. All right, let's see how this plays out the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.